So you have to prove again.
Yes, I approve.
Right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is IDAGIO Live. It's Thursday, so this must be Thursday with Thomas. It is IDAGIO Live, where classical music happens. And what is happening tonight is what the original intent of the Thursday evening visits really was and always has been, to visit with friends and colleagues from around the world in the classical world. A lot of them that I know, some that I don't know, but tonight I do know this guy quite well, and you probably do too. Piotr Beczała or Beczała or Beczała. You know, can you, right off the top, Piotr, would you help us all? How do you say your last name?
With big pleasure. It's actually very easy. It's Piotr Beczała.
Beczała.
Perfect.
I very seldom hear you called that, either behind your back or even on stage. I hear all sorts of interesting versions of your name.
Oh, yeah, there is
Beczała.
a lot of versions, yeah.
Now, be very careful, ladies and gentlemen, because when you go into idagio.com and you're looking for Piotr's recordings, you need to write his name correctly. And this is B-E-C-Z, no?
Yes.
Yes, B-E-C-Z-A-L-A.
Yes. Sometimes in Italy and Spain, because they have a problem with this combination C and Z, and they switch the places, and it's really complicated. I have a lot of reviews also that they write the name wrong. My wife, when she's Googling sometimes, what happens in the world, and put my name, she has in computer two versions, one Beczała and one Beczała.
Beczała.
Yes.
Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you feel better with this conversation, because even I, who have known Piotr for I don't know how long, actually still had a little bit of confusion in my mind. So it's glad to get that cleared up. Now you know who he is. You heard him sing. I'm sure most of you. These IDAGIO Live are very much our classical public, and anybody that knows that you're on the show is going to be really chiming in and trying to listen to who you are and where you've been. And also, we now broadcast on Facebook Live at the same time. So thomashampson.com will have this, as well as IDAGIO on YouTube and Vimeo and so forth. So it'll be a lot of fun. We have a nice conversation. Let's start at the top. I mean, I know you. We've sung a lot together. We are old friends and so forth. But I need to ask you some questions that I know everybody's burning to ask. Like, where are you from? Are you from one of those cities that has more consonants than vowels?
Yes. Now you switched us with Czech language. No, it's not so bad in Poland. Okay. We have still one vowel more in each word than Czech people, but it's still a little bit complicated. Of course, I'm coming from South Poland. That's actually there were three countries coming together. It's the Czech Republic, Slovak Republic, and Poland, just 40 kilometers from the border. And it's called Czechowice-Dziedzice. Okay, it's
you know what it is. You know, I've sung in Czechowice, so you know.
You see?
I did.
But my wife is coming from the same city. You know, that's all our family is actually around 10 minutes with a car, which is pretty easy and good when we visit them now. We know that we can be in one day, we plan one day and we visit whole family and everybody are happy. But you know, there is actually a problem because there's no music school in the city. It's maybe 40,000 people. And for doing something with music, you have to go to another city, Bielsko-Biała, or to the close to Katowice. But
you know, I'm wrong. I sang in Katowice. My
Katowice
bad.
in the new
hall. Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic.
Beautiful
Yeah.
place. Unbelievable. And then we went. Before we left, we drove over to Krakow.
Yes.
To visit.
Also very
I've recorded in Krakow. I love Krakow. Now, is this part of Poland where you're from? Has that always been Poland?
Not really. No. Well, if everybody who knows a little bit history knows that there was a moment in the Polish history was Poland doesn't exist. 121 years. Start to exist again to 1918. After the First War, and well, it's actually the place where I was born belonged to Austria.
Uh-huh.
Because Poland was split between Austria, Germany, and Russia. Yes, and at
that time, I mean, we don't want to get too bogged down. People would be very confused, but not Prussia.
No, Russia.
Russia.
Russia
And probably had more bits up in the northwest part.
This is actually Prussia is actually Preußen.
Preußen.
It belonged to the Germany in that time.
Exactly.
Yes, and it is very confusing and complicated for someone who is not really involved in the whole story. But that is sometimes.
How far are you by car from home to Vienna?
Well, it's not so far. Actually, we can go with 3.5 hours from Vienna to our home.
Okay.
It's very close now.
So you growing up there, you're being a normal kid, whatever that means.
Very normal, yeah.
A great student, of course, straight A, and a triathlete. When did music come up? Are your folks musical?
Actually, not. I started in a chorus. That was it was also a pretty complicated situation because I get no interest on music. So 18 years, and then suddenly I saw that in my school, I was in a technical school.
Yeah.
I saw the announcement that they looking somebody, they make auditions for the chorus.
Yes.
And I wasn't prepared for the math. And in the same time, I got a math Prüfung, the exam.
Yeah, exam.
Okay, I go to the chorus audition. I have a good excuse not to go to the math exam. And it works perfectly for me because I wasn't there. I didn't get a bad exam result. And they took me to the chorus, and it was actually the first step because the same lady who is leading the small chorus in our school has a semi-professional, Madrigalistenverein. I don't know how to say. It's old music.
Madrigal Society.
Yes. And there's just 16 people, 16 young singers, doing on a very high level music. The oldest Monteverdi, Orlando Di Lasso, all the Renaissance music, and it was just my start with my adventure.
Hang on. So when you were like 12 or 13, did you not read music? Did you not have piano or anything like that?
Not at all.
You weren't a boy tenor, boy baritone, whatever?
Not at all.
Soprano?
No, nothing. I was 2 months.
So when you went to the chorus to sing, you learned by ear.
Yes, actually, yes. Well, no, I learned 1 year accordion. But it was just almost nothing. And then I play a little guitar, like all teenagers in that time. But
the idea of A major made sense.
Yes, of course, more or less.
Yeah.
But actually, when I started, 2 years later, the conductor lady, Anna, she told me, maybe you could go and study music. And said, come on. How? I just learned a little music. I can maybe play a little one hand and I can read a little music, and I learn a little of harmony or solfeggio with the chorus. And Music Academy, in my opinion, was very high level. It was actually with no. And they said, no, you have 7 months. You can do it. and she sent me to a vocal professor, to a singing professor into Katowice. And my first meeting with my vocal professor, I don't know any opera aria or art song. I just sung some Weihnachtslieder. So
it's fantastic.
And then she took me, and then I get 7 months to learn more harmony, solfeggio, the story of the music, all the. And of course, I have to prepare some music stuff for the exam, some opera arias.
Now, the exam, the math exam you got out of, you probably had to do it anyway at some point. But when you were going through school and you just joined the school, what did you think you were going to do? What did you want to do for a living? Had you made up that idea yet?
Yes. My plan was to be engineer.
All right.
Yes.
What kind? Electrical?
Yeah, we got some. It was mechanical and electrical together in that time. It was, it was 80 something, 80s.
Right.
We had a computer at that time, and all the automatic machines were pneumatic or hydraulic. It was no electronic thing. And what I did, you know, and actually my goal was to be a ship captain.
Ah,
you know, just yeah. But you know, it's
do you love the sea?
yes, I love it. I love it. It was also the idea to go out of
Yeah.
the country, you know, from the system.
Have you got your boat license?
Yes, I know I got.
Ah, I want to get mine actually. I'm going to get it next summer.
I got already 10 years, no, 12 years. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. When you
Yeah.
go to the water, when you and Kasia go to when you and your wife, Kasia, right?
Yes.
Right. When you go to the water, where do you guys go?
We went 3 times in Croatia.
That's
and
supposed to be incredibly beautiful.
It's phenomenal.
Incredible water.
It's a lot of islands, you know,
Yeah.
so thousands of islands, and you can really spend a couple of days or even more if you want. You know, not
Hey,
to repeat the same.
can you rent a boat? Can you rent a boat?
Yeah. There is a very good renting boat companies. You know, you can find any size and any. It's just brilliant. And also 2 times in Greece, and it's also fantastic. But it's a little bit rough sea.
Yes, we rented a boat in Greece. They were quite good about it, in Cyprus as well. In Europe, if you don't have a boat license, they'll give you a boat that goes 3 or 4 kilometers an hour, which is really awesome.
No sense. You know, the size of
in America,
in
the US, it's a driver's license, and you've got, you know, whatever you can afford, which is a little bit crazy, but we love to get on the water too. I didn't know that about you.
It's complicated, yeah. But Europe, you know, even in Croatia, you have to make the radio license.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
No, I get that. Right. You need to know. Yeah, they're very strict.
In Greece, no. In Greece, you don't need that. But
no.
in Croatia, you need that. It's complicated. But if you have your license, my recommendation is Croatia.
Do you get to choose what language you take the test in Croatia?
Well, I speak Croatian a little bit. You know, this is not a big. Yeah, it's very close to Polish. You know, it's all the Slavic languages. You know, Serbian, Croatian, Slovakia, Slovenia, Czech. It's somehow connected, and it's when you spend a little time with the people, and then you can adapt your.
Do you think is it more connected than, say, Dutch and German?
No, maybe like that. Yeah.
We can read Dutch and sort of get through it. I don't want to be.
But the speaking is a bit complicated. I know. Yes.
Yeah, but to speak it,
it's like maybe like Sweden and German. You know, something like that. Yeah. Also, it's pretty familiar.
I love the idea. So if you had to choose between boating and golf. What happened?
You can combine both. You can go with the boats to different golf places, you know, and that's also possible.
That's true. We could do a boating golf tour or something like that around the coast.
You know, to be on the boat is a little bit more expensive than golf, and second, you need a little bit more. Well, you have to take a lot of responsibility about your crew. You know, when you are the captain. That's all. You know, on the golf course, you know, you can just try not to hit somebody, and that's fine.
I've played a lot of pro-am tournaments, and that's what we always say. Look, if at the pro-am tournament, if you don't hit and kill somebody, and you actually find your ball, and you don't make your pro play slower because you're an idiot, you're having a great time. You know, but so when you say you wanted to be a ship captain, like a big tanker or a ferry or
whatever. The first, what I get to go to Gdańsk, to Danzig, is the on the sea in Poland. That was a school, and there's only one school for be a captain, and you know it was too far away from the family. You know, was many problems, and I decided to make just this technical school, and then maybe something. But then I start to sing, and all my plans going, Bach runter.
Yeah, they just floated away. We're very similar in that way. Of course, I'm older than you are, and I was just at the end of in America the Vietnam War period, and I thought, you know, before I get drafted, I would rather join the Air Force. And I've always wanted to learn to fly. I still haven't learned to fly. I always want to learn to fly. And I thought, well, I'd also be a pilot. That could be kind of cool. The problem is I'm too tall. So,
Yeah.
you know, thank God my voice found me, and I didn't have to worry about it, because if you can only be 6'2", 6'2" in a pilot. Maybe it's changed, the bigger planes, I don't know. But then it was 6'2", and I'm 6'4", and so that was the end of my flying career. So,
Now, thanks God.
yeah, well, I can't complain. What can I say? You know, that's why I've always said, and it's a little bit the same. People, when people talk about, you know, a lot of our colleagues have the same kind of discovery path,
Yeah.
and I think people love to hear about that because they're a little bit surprised. But I always say my voice discovered me.
Yeah.
And in some ways that's the way. I mean, at what point did you sing something and your teacher went, "Donavetta, young man, this has potential"?
Well, to be honest, it was actually I was already a student, and I go to Sena Jurinac's masterclass. She was her very well, but she was a really very famous singer, and at that time, of course, retired. But she was a very famous professor also, and I was invited to make a masterclass with her in Leng in Switzerland. And I arrived with some, Puccini in a pocket, and she told me, no, leave Puccini alone. You have to sing Mozart. But she told me that there is a potential, but I have to be very patient, and I have to be very, slower than I think. That because it takes a lot of time to grow, not only the voice, but also a personality and so the point of view how all this musical world works. You are in different position because you are in big city. You are in America, big country.
America's not a big city, and I come from a very small city.
So,
but I know what you mean.
When somebody's going in I don't know, Kasia, they offered my wife, a long time ago, a stipendium in scholarship in Juilliard.
Wow.
And she told, no, thank you very much, because it's too far away. She doesn't have the courage. The same thing was with me. Kurt Pahlen, the professor Kurt Pahlen,
yeah.
he was he's leading this master class.
In Zurich.
Not Leng.
Oh, in Leng.
It was in Leng. He has this, but he was also in the head of the young artist program in that time in Zurich, and he offered me a stipendium in Zurich for open studio, and I said no, I have still 4 years in Poland to study. Of course it was maybe a mistake, but who knows?
Yeah, but Piotr, I mean, I'm one of your biggest fans, and one of the reasons just is the health of your voice, and especially as you've matured and so forth. But where have you ever had bad teaching? One question, and the second question is, where did you form this essential belief, or who was it that? Because I'm not sure. Yes, we teach technique, but a lot of it is a teacher awareing you to what your own instincts have to be as a singer. How did that happen? Where did that come from? Because you're just one of the healthiest singers singing today, period.
No, the first thing I had to say, I found my teacher. I was already in Linz. I finished my study.
Okay.
As well, almost spinto tenor.
Wow.
I sang. I was pushed to sing Cavaradossi. Thanks God I met Sena Jurinac's, and she told me, no, you have to make Mozart. And of course, I tried to make it, but the philosophy of my academy in Katowice was you have to sing the big repertoire.
Yeah.
And then I started in Linz, and I was a short tenor without high notes, and I was really very nervous. I met a guy, Sam Cooke.
Yeah.
He was a tenor, black, Afro-American tenor. He started in the same year than me, and it was my good friend. We talked. We tried to learn German at that time, and he told me he has a fantastic high notes. He was a very high tenor, and he told me, I have a friend in Salzburg who can help you. It was Dale Foundling.
I love it.
A pianist. No, but he did a lot of master classes by Krauss, by Bergonzi, and learned a lot. And we worked 19 years, and
wow.
we rebuilt my whole voice. I was the only singer who really, ausgehalten hat. I don't know how to say.
Endured
the 19 years with him, because he's not a very
he had a huge reputation.
easy man. Oh, but
he was not a warm blanket.
Well, yes, but he was a fantastic as a teacher, and we just created own language, how we communicate, and he rebuilt completely my voice, and I'm on my own, but still I have this kind of ideas of him.
He helped you find, because you've always had such a full-throated approach, but he probably showed you how the slim at the top and the place through.
That was the first. That was the first year.
Schlank bleiben, Junge.
Yeah, that's true. Because I was singing too heavy,
Yes.
with very low larynx, and then he recreate my voice.
Yeah.
And then there is a big philosophy about singing, three-dimensional sound, that you don't sing in one spot. You just have to try a very three-dimensional space for singing. And this kind of way he explained me, and I own it. I just also developed this, through the years, because we're not working anymore, because I had no time first, and then I think I know what I'm doing more or less.
He's still alive.
So yes, he's living now he's in Madrid. I met him last year. I was singing Faust with Luca in Madrid, and we met there. But the thing is, one thing what he doesn't understood was that he's not thinking about singing like it is a human being. It's that the personality or the delicatesse of the
it was the instrument.
Yeah, he was very strong. He betrayed me as all singers or students like a piano or another instrument. But of course, we have feelings, and we have problems, and we are very sensitive, and this kind of way is very special.
Did you get that from getting one? I mean, obviously, you probably came into the business rather quickly, and then you started singing probably a lot of Mozart, which you're quite famous for. Who were some of the conductors that really formed that side of you?
Well, I started Mozart in Zurich, and there was Franz Vasilmus, who was the guy who started in the same year. Where I was, yes, and I knew him from Linz, where I was. Sure. And we did a lot of repertoire, even operetta or funny production of Simplicius from the house. Very funny, actually almost an opera. And and then depend of the repertoire, I just have many mentors. For me, in the Italian repertoire was the Nello Santi, absolutely phenomenal.
Nello, did you ever talk to Nello about Mozart?
Not really.
Did he ever come to a Mozart performance or something? And because he loved Mozart, but he just never. No. I had one time a conversation with him about Mozart, and he was, unbelievably respectful, and it's important. But he always, man, non ne posso, Mozart e non Piccini, non Leoncavallo, non Verdi, ma grazie, ma sing all the Mozart you want, but if you want to sing the other things, you must learn how to sing the other things. Yeah. And this, is very important. He wasn't putting it down at all. And he didn't think that because you sing Mozart, you can't sing Puccini by any means. But I think he got very irritated with people who said, oh, well, if you sing a lot of Mozart, your voice will develop and you'll start singing Puccini. That's complete nonsense. You must find this.
Yeah, you have to find.
He was a great conductor. I know you sang a lot with him, much more than I did, but I was very grateful to have the experience I had.
We got two. For example, we had two new productions, one Rigoletto and one Ballo in Maschera, and all this amazing rehearsals with him, what he's talked about music, and also when it was in the Rigoletto, for example, it was also Leonucci as Rigoletto.
Leonucci was there. When you had
it's just how fresh they think about music. That's in that time Leo was singing maybe 465 Rigolettos in his life, and there was one I remember a conversation that they talk about Rigoletto, because Leo did just a couple of weeks before in Italy, and a new production. And he said, well, and he discovered some moments new for him. I said, come on. And Santi told, yes, sì, certo, questa è una possibilità.
Yeah. But Leo is what now, late 70s?
Oh yeah, 78 or something.
Yeah, and he just sang a concert.
I know.
And people just, I mean, he's one of my models, my role models. I mean, I can't imagine. I sang Marullo in Rigoletto. I was a kid in the ensemble in Dusseldorf, and the old Italian, not as good, but it was Alberto Erede.
Okay.
He had a bit of a chin, he talked like this. And it was quite a cast that was singing. And I'll never forget, he was getting after the baritone. He said, no, I won't say his name. You need to be very careful because Rigoletto has the recitativi and then it has the arioso. And you sing everything arioso.
Yeah.
And the guy looks and says, Maestro, I think you're confused. There's no recitativi in Verdi. Eredi looks at him straight in the eye, just long enough for the guy to realize he's insulted him, right? And he says, appunto. I'll never forget that as long as I live. My fantastic moment. Made me look at the repertoire completely different.
To remember all those wonderful people, I mean, my first Rigoletto was in Zurich, my first ever. And the conductor was Maurizio Arena. He was not very known as a conductor, but he was very known as a pianist and co-repetitor for Pavarotti, Mario del Monaco, all guys, and for me it was just like, when this guy accepts me as Duca and Rigoletto, it means something,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you haven't mentioned Harnoncourt. Did you guys get along all right?
Yeah, we did a couple of.
You did an Entführung with him that I think you liked very, very much.
Yes, I did. I did also Zauberflöte, of course, a couple of times. We did.
Did you do Giovanni's? By the time you came to the house, I don't think we were doing any Giovanni's, or I wasn't doing.
Giovanni was with Franz Vasilmus in Zurich. It was a new production.
With Sven Erik.
It was a very good one. Sven Erik, yes.
Yeah.
Very good one. With Malin Hartelius.
Yeah.
Very good one. I like this production very much. I think we did it on DVD. I'm not sure. I'm sure. Yeah, probably. But Harnoncourt was the most important thing was to talk with him. He was such an intelligent man. And his explanation of so many different parts of the opera, and that's just fantastic. I remember we did in Einsiedeln. That's the big church with they have a huge library. Yeah. And it was a charity concert for the library, and we have just a tour through the library, and they gives Maestro Harnoncourt first piece, also first page of Mozart's Fourth Symphony. Original
manuscript.
I saw the man shaking.
Yeah.
He said, on this piece of paper, I can make a Doktorarbeit, So I know how to say in English.
On this piece of paper, this first page manuscript of the Mozart Symphony, Harnoncourt said he could make a doctorate dissertation.
Yes. Just it was really, he was so moving, and that's moments when I remember forever. That's.
Oh, he was. Yeah, by the time you got to Munich, was Sawallisch gone?
No, I never met Sawallisch.
You never met Maestro Sawallisch. No, I'm just ahead of you enough. No. So who else? Who else do you love? Yeah.
Actually, when from my perspective now, when I think when I started to sing a little bit more operetta, and then I met Christian Thielemann, and his idea to not to push me, but to convince me to sing Wagner. Was really
it was him. Really he's the one that started for that. And your first role was Lohengrin, no?
Yes.
But that is the lyric.
It is not a typical Wagner.
Yeah.
It's not a typical. It's a lot of influence from bel canto.
Yeah.
You can hear it and you can feel it also with voice. It's not
I
like
remember
another.
when Gustav Winberg
Yes.
sang it, everybody went, because everybody knew him as Don Alfonso and whatever else, and all of a sudden he's doing Lohengrin, and what's this all about? But it was beautiful. Did you know Gustav?
Yes, I met him a year before he died.
God rest him.
He did. I think it was. I think he did Sigmund in the Valkyrie. Yes.
Could be. His Lohengrin was quite wonderful. We used to sing Bohème together back in the day in Zurich, And I remember one night we had that fight scene between Marcello and Rodolfo, and we pushed each other and it was fine. And I don't know what he did. He did something else, and I reached out to push him again, and he bent down, and I literally hit him in the side of the throat, like this. I almost passed out. I mean, and he came up to me later this season. I'm okay. It's okay. And I thought, oh my God, I'm putting. So that was a lesson to me. Never do that kind of thing. He was a wonderful singer. Did you do all the Mozarts? Going back, I want to go back through your repertoire. Did you do Ferrando? Così van tutte?
Yes.
So you did Belmonte, Ferrando, Don Ottavio. Did you ever do Idomeneo?
No.
Do you want to?
No.
Clemenza?
No.
Right.
I did, for example, Mithridate and Lucio Silla, but not the main roles. It was my time in Zurich when I did everything, beginning the 3 years, and it was some secondary role.
Mithridate is very high, no?
It's very high. Yeah. Yes, it's really a bel canto role. It's Reinaldo Macias sang the Mithridate, and I was the Marzio. With even just one aria, but really difficult. And it's like Rosenkavalier, the Marzio.
I'm thinking that the first time I actually heard you sing, I'd heard about you. I mean, I'm old friends with Franz, and I'm old friends with Alexander, and I'm the old dog in Zurich anyway. But I believe the first time is when you sang Matteo in Arabella.
Oh yeah.
Which is an unthankful, unsingable, but wonderful role.
For me was a easy money, because it's not big.
Exactly. And I remember coming out of that going, that's quite something.
Yeah. And when I heard about that, they convinced. Of course, I was in that time I was 3 years.
You had to sing it
in ensemble. Yeah. I have to sing it, and I remember Thomas Grabowski. Okay, I will learn you that. No problem.
I'll teach you that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll teach you that. And I learned it, and it was actually pretty funny. It was a good production. That was last production of Götz Friedrich.
And Cheryl Studer and Wolfgang Brendel.
Yes. And Don Kotowski was my Zdenka.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Really fun. We got really fun. It was last time when I smoked on the stage. Really.
Really so. I always insisted, if you want a cigarette, I don't want one of these silly cigarettes. Give me a cigarette. What I hate, and is like in Don Giovanni, they'd bring the wine, and I said, I gotta have, I want red. I don't want juice. The juice, you don't understand it. I don't want phlegm and garbage. And some theaters were not allowed to put wine on stage. So I said, they're good. Then color some water. But whatever you do, don't give me, cranberry juice.
Yeah. It makes dry. It's true. We have the same thing in Bohème. I've seen many Bohèmes, and it's all the same in Paris. We always was joking because we put on the bottle the etiquette.
Yeah.
In the first act, and it was vin de merde.
Vin de merde. That's the wine of shit, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Sorry for that. I remember there was one production in Geneva I did of Bohème, and Hugh Gall, the great intendant who went on to Paris, was in, and he loved us. We had a great time. It was Fiammizzo d'Amico, and I mean and he would make sure that we had really great wine every night. And I tell you, there were a couple of shows where, we were really having a good, Café de Mamousse, and the fourth act had tragedy, but probably not the right one.
No. But I have to say that I was always jealous on the baritones in Magic Flute when the Papageno get the chicken at the end. I was already so hungry because I can't eat before the performance. I was so very hungry, and then the whole opera house smells after
like the chicken.
Oh,
That's the same thing in Don Giovanni, but you have to be very careful who your cast is, because between having a taste of the chicken
Oh yeah,
and the rest of the
you
scene
have to
dying
sing
and
something.
come back, it's gone off stage, and the entire, I mean, everybody's just bones when you get off the
Yeah,
chicken.
yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
Anyway, yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's real food.
Yeah.
It's quite something. All right, Piotr, how is cutting to the contemporary time? I mean, you seem to be one of the more, I mean, I know you went through a down period like we all have, but you seem to be quite busy right now. You're really
Oh yeah.
quite singing around, no?
You
Was
know,
there a particular,
surprisingly,
was the spring dead? I mean, as it were, COVID stop?
yeah. The spring was really, as we went in New York, and they cut
Yeah.
the lockdown 5 days before the opening night of Werther, with me and Joyce. And then we stayed in New York 2 weeks more, and then we tried to escape to Europe, and we did it with the last flight.
It was difficult, no?
Very difficult, because everything was cancelled. Our flight was cancelled, and then was really a danger that they really closed the borders, and then we will be.
Which they did, actually.
Yeah, I was contact Franz Vasilmus, and he, after the first closing, next day he packed his suitcases and flew to Europe. But we think, okay, we have an apartment there, nothing can happen. To be honest, we do self quarantine, something like that. But then the things go worse, and we have to escape, really, like an Odyssey, very dangerous and very complicated. And then was maybe 1.5, 2 months until May, end of May, was nothing. We spent fantastic time in Poland, in our house, read books, cook, bake a little, and it was fantastic. And then actually starts pretty soon, because they make in Austria Lechar documentary, and we did the concert with Michael Schad and Kamila Nilund in Teatr de Ville.
Right.
And then starts the I could record from the air there with Gerhafer, in Munich, something.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Had you done Das Lied der Erde before?
Yes, I did it. All 3 versions.
Okay.
The big symphonic version, I did the piano version, and the Schönberg.
Was this Petrenko?
Sorry?
Petrenko?
No. It was with piano version. It was piano version with Gerald Huber.
All right.
Yeah. And for Sonny, and it was just fun, to do something, and that starts all this festival time. And actually, I was pretty busy, because July and August, I got 4 festivals, and doing a lot of concerts. Of course, the pity thing is that I couldn't make my role debut as Radames in Metropolitan. It's really pity. All the production, the whole production.
Isn't that a role that will always be there?
Maybe, but I spent a lot of time for preparation for it.
Well, think of it as a good pot roast. It's just sitting in the oven. It's waiting to.
Yes. It's really well written, and
it's like borscht. I can smell it in your apartment. I used to, it's like borscht. The longer it sits, the more delicious it becomes.
It tastes good. Yeah, tastes good. Yeah,
but Radames would you consider that a big step in the future for your repertoire?
Not very big. It's not the biggest step.
What was the biggest step? What did you feel like, I'm really pushing on the edge of what I know I can do, but this is really quite something? What was that? For me, it was Macbeth.
Yeah,
I knew I was pushing on the edge there.
I actually, it was nothing what I did in last years was like that, because everything is exactly in the how to say, in the space where I have no problems or no pushing anything. But of course, Lohengrin was a big challenge.
Okay. And why?
And it was not because it's completely different kind of singing. You have to change your attacca. You have to find a more look. You don't have a high notes by Lohengrin. The highest note is La, is A. But you have to push all this voice in under the A, like handle with the text, because you have to really sing on the high La, Graal, not think the Italian way. You have to think like a German tenor.
Right.
And the combination is pretty complicated, but I just enjoyed, because it was fantastic combination, great colleagues. No, first time with Anna, and of course Christian, and great colleagues.
Well, it's Christian I've worked with. I mean, Telemann is such a singer's conductor. My
He's
God.
just brilliant, and and he's also helping, and
yeah,
he trust. Look, I never sang Wagner once with you, Tannhäuser in Zürich, but Walter for the Vogelweide is not really a role. This is it's occupation.
That's right, we did that, and it was. That's right. It was Peter Seifert was Tannhäuser. No?
Yes. Alfred Move.
He almost killed it.
Yeah. Almost killed us. Yeah, but it was actually my first really Wagner experience with Long, and I enjoyed a lot because I can use really all my experience with Italian and French repertoire, adding the confidence of being able to sing, whatever and however I need, because it's no danger in this role.
What about Polish repertoire?
Oh yeah,
Are there some wonderful operas?
Yes, we did just last year in 2019 in December in Vienna in Theater der Wien, Halka from Moniuszko. It was my idea actually and my responsibility. I spoke with Roland Geyer 7 years ago about coming back to Theater der Wien, and we couldn't find a repertoire, whatever. And then I thought, when you make it Halka, I sign the contract tomorrow. And 2 days later, I got a call. Well, it's quite interesting idea.
Yeah.
And 2019 was a year of Moniuszko.
Right.
200 years of Moniuszko, and it was really like sometimes things happen like it's going like in a clock, It was like that. Co-production with Warsaw Opera, they put it. It was fantastic.
And did you sing it in Warsaw as well?
Yes, just.
They must have loved that. They must have gone crazy.
Yeah, I promised to my Polish fans that I'm going every year to Poland for concert or performances. And now, actually, this year and last year, I did a lot. I mean, a lot. 3 performances.
I get that you're very low. I learned the King Roger of Szymanowski. And
I was there in Salzburg.
You were there, weren't you? Exactly.
I was
and it was beautiful music. I found the language very stubborn. There's no modifications of singing. It's what you see is what you get. But I loved the work, and I worked very, very hard. And your Polish colleagues, they were so nice to us. Philip Langridge and I were the only non-Polish people in the cast, and everybody was incredibly nice. It was an amazing experience. Wonderful music. You would have sung that maybe in school, I suppose.
No. I did it in Amsterdam once.
Yeah.
I did it in Amsterdam before, maybe 17 years ago or something like that. It was very nice production when Johannes Schaaf did it. Hartmut Henschen was conducting. Really, really good production.
Oh, it's a wonderful piece. Now, the thing is, you did a lot of bel canto repertoire as well, no? Bellini, Donizetti?
A little.
Lucia?
I still sing Lucia, that's...
Nemorino?
Nemorino? Never.
Really?
I am the only one who never sang Nemorino.
Why?
But just not happened. I just did too much Mozart.
That's very funny.
Yeah.
I would tell you that.
But I did, for example, Elvino in Sonambula with Edita in Zurich. Yeah. This is kind of role, This is the canto pure, very high stuff. And we got a lot of fun. It was Grisha Alzagaro's production.
Right.
Edita and Marcello Viotti was conducting. Fantastic. We got 10 brilliant performances.
But his kids, his daughter just wrote a fantastic all about music. They're just amazingly talented.
I did with him in Zurich, Werther. 2 years ago. Fantastic.
He's now, I think he's music director down at the Gulbenkian right now.
I'm not sure. Yes, but he's very smart, and he's.
But also his daughter. She's a wonderful cellist, I think, isn't she?
He also one daughter of him is a singer, is a mezzo soprano.
Singer.
Yes. The whole family.
Ladies and gentlemen, look up the Viotti family. I'm sorry to mispronounce their names. Their father, Marcello, was one. He conducted a lot in Zurich. He was an incredibly wonderful guy, and he died very suddenly of a brain hemorrhage after a rehearsal. with that brain, it doesn't surprise me, but it's just tragic and awful. But his children are and they're all coming into the business, and they're very, very talented. So we wish the Viotti family, without saying their names. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, so what else? What do you want to do? I mean, you're on, this is a question that probably everybody has on their lips. You're on the pantheon. You're going to be there for quite some time. Is there, as we say in English, a bucket list? Meaning, is there a small list of things that I hope that I can do someday, but maybe I won't, or yada yada?
Yeah, I want to be a single handicap, but will never happen probably.
Yeah.
That's on my bucket list. Yeah,
I almost made it. I got myself down to well, actually, I did make it. I was a 9.7, but I'm sure as hell not one now.
No. I know I can get it, but I need 1 month of playing. Then I got it. Well, it's fine. But
I was asked that question by a very famous politician, extremely famous world politician. Thomas, lovely singing. Now, I've already kind of given away, but what is the summit of your ambition? And I kind of looked and I said, well, 5 handicap, and he unfortunately didn't know what I was talking about, and so the conversation sort of, never mind. Go ahead. What about was Radamés one of these roles that you've always wanted to sing?
Yes, actually, I'm more going in the Italian development, not French. French is I did Don José 2 years ago, and I'm really happy with that. I will doing this in the next couple of years, couple of times. But in French repertoire, it's actually over. There's nothing for me, which I really would like to make. Right. But in Italian repertoire, of course, I do Malrico next year in Zurich. I will do, so Radamés is on the schedule, latest in Madrid in 2 years. I do Parzival.
Right.
Of course, it's not a big deal because the role is not big, but it's me.
Oh, but it's really well sung. What will that be?
It will be first with Franz Vasilmus in Cleveland.
Okay.
In concert, and then it will be a new production in Bayreuth 2023.
Well, tell Franz that you can only sing it with me as Amfortas.
Good, I will.
Yeah. Give him my love. Give him my love. Tell him I do Tortured really well.
Very good.
I love Amfortas. I love Parzival.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. That's very well. No, it needs.
And of course, everybody's asking, would you sing Othello, whatever? I don't know, to be honest. If I go so far.
Do you need to?
No, I don't need. That's the point. I will be not very unhappy when it not happens.
Yeah.
Also, my Russian friends, they ask, "Oh, you have to sing Herman."
In peak down.
Well, maybe. But
well, I think do you have to? No. Yeah, but you're so smart about your voice. You go the next step when you know that it's time to do that. If you want to do something, and also, have you ever done something and said, that's really not for me, and just never did it again?
Not really. I was that close to sing a role what I don't like. You will laugh probably. It's about Hoffman. I don't like Hoffman.
Okay.
And I was 5 months. I got a contract in Vienna, and I was 5 months before the rehearsal starts. And it's like, no, thank you very much. I don't like it.
All right.
It's a waste of time. Well, I can sing it tomorrow. But
you have very strong ideas. But I think you're right. I mean, you have to really want to be Hoffman.
Yeah, I want to like to be. I know exactly how Hoffman has to be, and it's so far away from my. Emotion way that maybe it would be fun to do it, but I'm very busy. I don't have time, to study a half year a role and then singing just for 5 performances and never ever.
Yeah, but also it's I don't know about you, but learning a role you don't want to sing is just
I did a couple of things but I was an ensemble. It was not like Matteo. Well, they give me the role and I sang it. It was fine. 7 performances. Bye. But even if Peter Geld told me he want to before I have my debut in Metropolitan Opera 2006, he asked me twice, and I said no, twice. And all my friends said, "Are you crazy? No, Max, don't ask third time." Yeah. And it was Camino, And I said, well, I will not sing a role, but I actually already am finished with the role.
Exactly. Well, he wanted you to sing Tamino.
Yeah, he asked me first for Tamino, and then second idea was Matteo, and the third one was Rigoletto, two performances, 2006, and that was my first step in Metropolitan. You know, I knew when I go to Metropolitan Opera, I want to be there for longer, not just for one performance or one run. And I would like to show something what I'm exceptional and not only good. You know, this is kind of how you deal with this.
I love it. Piotr, we're going to do something fun. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do a screen sharing here. And I have to set up a few things here. Just a minute. I set up my Safari. So here we go. And the next thing you should see should be do you see your page, Piotr?
Yes, I see.
All right. I'm doing this because I want everybody to go to idagio.com and have a great time doing recordings. But this is how you spell his name. B-Z-I, right? And as you can see, our dear friend Piotr has been very busy. And so you can have a lot of fun dropping the needle and all these various things. These are also other recordings that he's on for other things. You can see this. So, and you can make yourself a playlist, legendary voices. That's not too bad at your young age. You know, live recordings and Deutsche Grammophon and Decca, the Dvorak, Svata Ludmila. This is a beautiful piece, no?
Fantastic piece. I have also a small story about that. Oh, come on. I was in Zurich and somebody called me, some agency, and said, well, we need a tenor to sing Svata Ludmila in a concert in Cologne in Germany. And recording. I said, okay, well, yeah, in the next 2 weeks, I have a little bit time, yeah.
Right.
And I was just in the old town in Zurich going to some Musikhug, you know, and I'm looking this, oh, Sveta Ludmila, that thing, you know. Oh, trouble. Then I see there are two tenors. I said, oh, probably they need the small one. It's just one aria and one duettino. And I said, yeah, okay, fine, I can do it. But which role you want? And actually, we need both. The big one and the small one.
No. In concert.
Yes, because it's you know, they are never together. And I learned it in very short time.
In Czech.
Kelly Thomas, yeah, in Czech, of course. And it was pretty stressy, but I like this music very much, you know.
You know, there's some beautiful Czech operas. I mean, more than just Rusalka.
Yeah, well, I know I recorded my Slavic album years ago, and I was trying to make more Czech operas, but you know, of course, I had to make a very compromise. I need to make Polish arias, Russian arias, but there's for Dalibor, fantastic.
Yeah.
And also Smetana, of course. I did the Birthday Bride many times, and this is part of my repertoire. It's a lot of fantastic music, you know. But you know, as you know, and I know you know that we need fun on the stage, you know, and
absolutely.
I just don't like to do something what I don't like, or I just you know, feel uncomfortable because somebody said, oh, you have to do this because it's important. Everything is important, you know, on that level.
Every performance. I'm going to ask you a question. I'm hoping now that we're all starting to sing a bit more, and of course, the regulations are coming and going in terms of how many people can be there and so forth. Does that matter to you, whether it's 50 or 500?
Well,
5,000?
I was singing also for 12 people on the private event, you know. I don't care. But if I like, when I see full house, you know what I mean? The empty places make me nervous. But, you know, of course, I know how are the regulations now, and that's. But I was in Warsaw, for example. Now 3 weeks ago, I did the opening night of Werther and second performance. And for the opening night, they have half of the house, and then was something, you know, the more problems. And 2 days later, for the second performance, 25% was 425 people, but not quality, not quantity. Quality is important.
Exactly. They
pushed me to repeat the aria in Werther.
Bravo.
425 people. They clapped so long that I have to repeat the aria. You know, it means.
Yeah, but that's actually what I was looking for in your answer. you can feel in the live performances today, and of course I'm very devoted to the streaming platform, and I think IDAGIO serves a wonderful purpose, and the global concert hall is fantastic, and all of these hybrid positions that we have, but we as artists can feel when we are with people, especially now after the COVID, and there's live music, it's like a drug clinic. We're all just we all want real music and real exchange and real emotion, and I think that's incredibly important.
Yeah, and of course there's a problem with the amount of people in America in the commercial way of opera, you know, because when Peter Gerd doesn't sell 4,000 people places, you know, it's a bad moment.
The business models in America are very dependent. But yes, you want to make another point.
But you know, in Europe we don't have this problem because Europe, you know, of course they have money from the government and they can manage this somehow. But it's no excuse to make really in Vienna Staatsoper 200 people letting in the opera, because it's not enough. And come on, I think the opera house and or concert hall is really a safe place. There's a big halls, you know, with even if there's COVID restrictions. Of course, it's not my responsibility. It's politics' responsibility. But I really hope that will someday we will have the normality back.
I think we will someday. I think it's going to be quite messy. But like you say, in Europe, there's at least more possibilities that something can happen, and live music is important.
Yeah.
America is very much changed to the business models that are completely different.
Yeah.
And it's not a lack of love of the art form. It's just a lack of the viability of paying for it, which in America is rather alpha and omega, as they say. But you know, I'm just so glad that you are able to do as much as you are, and be careful, travel safe. You know, exactly.
Course, you know,
you wear your mask and don't talk to people.
I do. You know, well, look, we are two with my wife. You know, we are places everywhere, and that's fine. Just we went in the forest to have some mushrooms. We found some mushrooms, and because we have guests tonight, and we will make some nice food and enjoy life, you know, beside opera. Also,
I'm in the wrong city. I'm coming soon. I hope to see you. How long are you staying in Vienna?
Just step over. You know the place.
Exactly. Warn Kasia, she has to make more mushrooms and more borscht.
Yes. Yeah.
Piotr, thank you for joining me tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Piotr Beczała.
Yes.
Not Beczała, Beczała.
You know, in Austria, when they call me, it's still my first 5 years in Linz. I get Beczała.
Yeah.
Because it's
But
somehow.
This is what I heard the first time.
Yeah,
Beczała. Piotr Beczała, you are wonderful. You are the top. You are the cat's pajamas. You are everything, and it's been wonderful to talk.
Cross fingers for your license for the boat license.
Yes, exactly, and for your single handicap.
Thank you.
Take care. All the best. Bye-bye.
All the best.